Okay, I'm pretty sure nobody I know watches Piers Morgan Tonight, but I do. I've been watching it since it started, since he took over for Larry King. And I'm just now watching the show from last night and the show from tonight, talking about if they should release the photos of Bin Laden dead. Like, you're about to hear Piers make a point, somebody else say something, and then you're going to hear Piers Morgan say the most profound thing I've heard anyone say since Bin Laden was killed, or should they release the photos. Like, Piers Morgan is the shit, and you're about to see why.
And Nick Christoph, I mean, earlier we heard from Nick Robertson, who's out there in Pakistan, saying that already, because of his decision not to release the photographs, there are people now all over the place, all over the region, saying, well, the reason for this is because it wasn't Bin Laden, he's not dead, the whole thing's a scam drummed up by the Americans, which is plainly ludicrous, but is going to fuel all sorts of conspiracy theories, isn't it? Isn't it the easier thing?
Well, I mean,
to just say, you know what, here he is, move on.
Yeah, I mean, there certainly have been doubts about whether it really was Bin Laden who's been killed. I do think that that is just beginning to change. Some of the jihadi sites in the last, say, 12, 24 hours have begun to agree that he was. And in fact, Bin Laden's daughter has now confirmed to the Al Arabiya network that indeed Osama was killed. It seems to me that if people are unwilling to believe Osama's own daughter, that adding the photos to the mix isn't really going to persuade them. And I do think, you know, that in Pakistan, all throughout the Arab world, there are an awful lot of criticisms of the American operation. Adding a photo of Osama covered with blood, with a big hole in his head, is only going to inflame those passions.
I mean, it may inflame the passions, but let's get real here. What Bin Laden did in New York on 9/11 inflamed a lot of passions the other way. I mean, aren't the American people entitled to payback? Aren't they entitled to an image, to atone for all the terrible images that he inflicted on the American people?
You know, we apply it.
Exactly. Like, the most profound thing I've heard said yet. Piers Morgan is the shit. Remember 9/11? Remember everything we had to see and go through? Towers falling, people jumping out of the buildings. One guy shot in the head, Bin Laden. Is that more horrific than everything we saw on 9/11? Exactly. Fuck them. Fuck whoever would be upset by seeing Bin Laden dead. What the fuck, Obama? What the fuck are you thinking? Payback.